Let's rev the hairdresser one more time. Come on. Come on. Come on. Oh. Oh. Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. You join me not with the 335D today, unfortunately, although more of that content will be coming because you guys have expressed so much interest and have been enjoying it, so I do thank you for that. But today we have this, an NB MX5, known as a hairdresser mobile or the rust mobile or the not so very fast car. But hey, there's many names for it, but I'm actually going to be sharing my first ever experience with one. Yes, I know, first. I've been driving for almost 10 years now and I've never driven one of these things. So be it, it's not the first generation, but believe me guys, it's just as good, and I've been driving around in it for the last few hours now, and I have to say it is brilliant. It's a cracking bit of kit. Now, this video wouldn't be possible today without Aaron from Carb Session. If you don't know him, he's not only a very good friend of mine, he's also my co-host on CarChatters. And yeah, without him, I wouldn't be driving this today. He's got plenty of things coming up. I'm not going to go into it too much, hence why I have the car today. But unfortunately, he isn't in my presence because of the way the world's going at the minute. It's just not possible. So it's just going to be me, I'm afraid. So this video is going to be a very newbie experience because I don't know a thing about these things. And yeah, hence it being my first experience. But yeah, despite the little bits of rust, which adds character, I think it's a very good looking car. It really is, and especially with the roof down, it has to be done because today is absolutely beautiful. So yeah, without further ado, let's get in the car and go for a drive and yeah, listen to my very amateurish review of my first impressions. And yeah, please do not bombard me in the comments below saying to me to get one, especially this one, because this is actually for sale. So Aaron, stop commenting, stop typing on the keyboard, please stop. But yeah, I'm actually toying with the idea about getting a car. Nothing too expensive because I just can't warrant it at the minute, especially with having the 335D as well. I just want something fun. So basically, is this the best compromise to have on the driveway? Because not only is it cheap, it's cheap to run, cheap to tax, cheap to insure, and it just gives you miles per gallon, I suppose. So yeah, anyway, I'm waffling now. Let's get on and go for a drive. So I've managed to get myself into this seat with the harness. I certainly don't miss harnesses. But anyway, as I've said, this is Aaron from Carb Session's MX5, an MB MX5 to be precise. Yes, I know he's a bit of an MX5 nut because this is not his only MX5. He has an NA Unos Roadster, which is a JDM import, and that's his pride and joy. This was more a track car. He bought this as a project slash track day toy, but of course this has a welded diff, which you may or may not be able to hear in this video. So yeah, believe it or not, I've actually never driven an MX5 before, and because of what's been going on the last few weeks, Aaron's been planning all sorts of stuff, which I'm sure he will be announcing very soon, so make sure you go and subscribe to my good friend. Yeah, he obviously brought this down because he has obviously inclinated that he will be selling this. So at the minute it just sits at his house all day every day, not really doing much, because he really tries to use Monique, his Mark 1 MX5, a lot more than this, which is fair enough. So he said, look, I'm going to bring it down, and yeah, if you want to, you can go out and just have a drive and see what you think of it. Because I am toying with the idea of looking for a new car. Nothing too crazy in terms of price. I just want something to run around in that is fun, and not a Peugeot 107, because that's what I've been using for God knows how long now. So yeah, Aaron's gone, well, I'm selling this, there's no pressure, give it a go, see what you think of it. So today's video is all about that, my first impressions of an MX5. It's not the MX5 I would buy, but I'm starting to grow with it. I've been around it for the last few days, just looking at it, playing around with the roof, learning cars, little hidden gems, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, the first thing is, of course, the engine. We'll talk about the engine, because MX5s, they look fast from the outside, but in reality they're not. Now, this car's got the 1.6 engine, and Aaron's always said that as much as the 1.6 engine is good, he prefers the 1.8, and I can see his reasoning behind it, because yeah, whatever you do with this car, whether you rev it out, you drive normally, and you put your foot down, it just doesn't go anywhere, and it's quite amusing in that respect. And it's a shame, really, because the chassis could do with a lot more, can cope with a lot more power, I can tell you that. Let's just drop down a gear. The soundtrack is pretty good. Oh, wrong gear. I'm getting used to this gearbox. It's a bit funky with this shifter. But yeah, so the engine isn't the most powerful, but again, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't with these cars, because they're so fun, and you can push it wherever you want to, and it doesn't feel unsafe. It doesn't step out, and even with the wielded diff, sorry, couldn't get my words out then. It's not intimidating. It really isn't. So yeah, let's talk about the diff, because it's a kind of strange thing to have in a track car. Because a track car, you want grip more than anything, whereas with this diff, yeah, it can be very unpredictable, especially in the wear. It's actually not really that bad in a dry. When you're driving, like what I'm doing now, you don't even notice you've got a diff, apart from you can hear the transmission below just whirring away very slightly. The only real time you notice it is when you're parking. It becomes a little bit of a pain, but even still, you just get used to it, and that's what I've been doing, really. Don't get me wrong, initially it was like you get the wheel hop, and yeah, it's quite disconcerting, but Aaron's mentioned it and I was aware of it, so it wasn't too surprising if it was someone that's never experienced it at all. But yeah, I'm going to say the next thing is the roof down experience. Now, yes, you can go and buy any convertible and get the same experience, but there's just something about the MX5, it's so analog. You put the roof down yourself, and you automatically get millions and millions of miles of sky above you. It's lovely, and especially a day like today, I couldn't have picked a better time to come out in the car. It's just glorious. And that is one of the things that I was looking for next. I wanted a convertible. I just wanted an itch to scratch, if I'm being honest. And I've always had the idea of having an MX5 as a car to play around with, and just get rid of that urge, because I've always wanted to experience an MX5 and live with one. And of course, Aaron, known him very well, and the amount of videos he does on MX5s, yeah, he's kind of steered me that way even more so. So yeah, I've got to make a very big decision what I'm going to do, but yeah, what he's offering me for this car is great. It's got lots of modifications, but not too much. To name a few, it's got HSD coilovers, which are pretty much Yellow Speed rebranded. They're all made in the same factory. And the ride actually is really, really nice. It's not firm, not too firm actually. I'm really, really surprised actually about it. And Aaron's also mentioned about his Mark 1 came with Bilstein, and apparently they were very firm. Whereas these they actually feel really nice. Almost like there is no coilover system on it. It's just the normal factory spring. So yeah, very nice suspension. Of course, we've got an exhaust. I think it's just a custom exhaust with a Powerflex back box. Of course, it's now got a Sport Cat, so it's not as loud as it was when Aaron first bought it. And again, it doesn't really drone that much. With or without the roof, I mean, you can't hear it. I mean, I'm driving like just at normal speed, and you wouldn't even know you've got an MX5 owner waving at me. That's quite cool, actually. But yeah, so yeah, the exhaust isn't too intrusive, which is nice. Of course, you get further on the road range, it starts to come a bit. I think it does burble as well, which is a nice little touch. It's got this hydraulic handbrake, which, yeah, personally I wouldn't have put in, but I think with the welded diff, it was designed to try and be a drift car, and that's of course what Aaron mainly wanted to do with it. But yeah, oh, I do love this. I do really like this car. And I honestly, even before driving this, I knew why there was such a high appeal for him, because they're not much money to buy. Yes, you have to look out for rust, of course. These are played with it, and this example does have a bit, but nothing too scary. And but any part you want to get for it, it's cheap to buy. They actually generally they are reliable, apart from obviously Aaron doing what he did with running the engine pretty much with no oil. But we won't talk about that anymore. I think he's had enough stick from me and others already, and he's learned from his mistake. But even then, that experience was the engine. I think he bought it for like £150. So in the grand scheme of things, yes, it was a mistake, but it was a very cheap one to rectify. Oh, I'm honestly just speechless. I can't really say a bad thing about the car because of how affordable they are, and you just constantly got a smile on your face. You just, yeah, you can't really talk negative about these. I'm sure there are things, and the more time I spend with it, I'll learn it. But if I'm going to actually say any negative things, I would actually say stuff like the diff. But that's just been inflicted on the car. It wasn't like that before. And again, Aaron's mentioned that you can get limited slip diffs for like pence. Again, it's almost like a Lego car. You can just put things on it, and it doesn't really cost you much to do. So, oh, love it, absolutely lovely. Because I've got B roads everywhere, it's what this car's made for. And that is going to sound stupid, but you can almost go flat everywhere in this. It's quite comedic, because it's, yeah, people think, oh yeah, MX5s are really fast, and now I see the appeal for why people turbocharge these, and supercharge actually. So I think I've seen a few supercharged ones. But yeah, I do like it. God damn you, Aaron. God damn you. He's infected me with the MX5 bug. He really has. Oh, I do love it. Yeah, little burble from the exhaust there. No, honestly. Alright, this is the thing, like, I've come out to do this video, and I'm not going to say I'm the most knowledgeable person. Like, I couldn't tell you the exact figures of what the engine produces. I think it's around 110 brake horsepower. Of course, I think this car's over 20 years old, so whether that still has 110 horsepower, I'd be very surprised. But even still, 110 horsepower regardless, or 100 horsepower, it still isn't fast. But that's not the philosophy of the MX5, and I completely understand that. And Aaron has promised me that he will let me go in his Mark 1 MX5, which is a 1.8, because he just says, yeah, it's a lot more meaty. Obviously, it's got a bigger engine, of course, and more power and torque. So yeah, I'd imagine that the difference in comparison is a lot greater. But yeah, so I'm not going to claim that I know too much about this. I just wanted to do this video to just share with you guys my first impressions of experiencing an MX5 for the first time. And it's mad to think that there's only 4 generations of the MX5. It just shows you that each generation's been sold for so long. And I don't know the statistics exactly of how many are sold. But yeah, it's definitely quite a few. Oh yeah, the indicators don't self-cancel. Yeah! Hairdresser! But because it's so light, when you do get to eventually a quick enough speed, it does really shift. It really does. But no, the chassis is magnificent, and again, the coilover system on this. Our B roads tend not to be the best quality, but yeah, this seems to be soaking it up quite well. But anyway, enough of that. I think I've spoken about the car for quite some time now. Again, a big thank you to Aaron and of course his wife for entrusting me with Mad Max for, I wouldn't say the foreseeable future, but for some time. I'm not too sure when he's going to come and get the car again. Of course I won't be driving it day in, day out, because it isn't my car. So yeah, but he's given me the experience to drive it, and I can only thank him with the deepest, darkest section of my heart. Thank you, Aaron. And yeah, I think my missus is going to be very unhappy with you because you're trying to get me to buy an MX5, even though you say you're not pressuring me. But anyway, guys, that's enough from me. Again, I really do appreciate everyone that has been tuning into the channel of recent, especially with the current situation in the world. I thought it's only right that I start making content again. So yeah, with that said, thank you for watching. I hope you liked this video. Don't slaughter me too much in the comments about my knowledge of MX5s. I'm sure if I do own one in the future, I'll brush up on some research and I'll be able to be a boffin like Aaron. But if you do want the front of all knowledge, then yeah, head over to Car Obsession, because he actually does a series called Living with an MX5, and he shares his entire experience either with this car or his Mark 1. So yeah, he's definitely the place to go. But if you could help out and subscribe, I would really appreciate it. And if you'd like to see any content in the future with Aaron, it's a shame obviously I can't have Aaron here with me, because it would have made this video a little bit more interesting in terms of facts and figures about the car. But yeah, I'm sure he'll be in the comment section too, giving his 10 pence worth. But anyway, that's enough. All the best, guys. Keep safe, and I will see you next time. All the best. Goodbye. Let's rev the hairdresser one more time. Come on. Come on. Come on. Oh. Oh.